Thank you, Senator Thune. I'm stepping in for the chair, and as chair, I'm also actually up for questions, so I can recognize myself. Secretary Buttigieg, it's good to have you here with us. Thank you for the outstanding work you're doing. Appreciate your testimony here today. Last week, along with 11 of my Senate colleagues, including many members of this committee, I wrote to you about the need to develop a federal framework to facilitate the safe development and the deployment of autonomous vehicles here in the United States. I know you've already had some questions related to that, so you know that this committee is certainly very interested in this topic. And I know you've only had the letter for 6 days, so I certainly don't expect a complete answer to that letter here today, but certainly appreciate your attention. But I do want to have a conversation about autonomous vehicles. And the fact of the matter is that one day, I think we all know that cars will be both electric and they will be autonomous as well. Those are really the only two there are really only two open questions. First, will those cars be made here in America with good paying jobs, including good paying union jobs? And second, will we enact policies today to achieve the best outcomes for workers tomorrow? Or will we be reactive to what is inevitable coming? History has taught us that technological change is inevitable, and while that has produced benefits for society, there's plenty of examples of workers, unfortunately, getting left behind as this technology moves forward. So I believe we can seize the moment to mold a new pattern, because good jobs and innovation, in my mind, do not have to be and are not mutually exclusive. So my question for you is, do you agree with me that we can both embrace new technology, like autonomous vehicles, while opening up opportunities for current transportation workers, in addition to creating new jobs? And what are some of the steps you think are necessary for us to achieve that vision, if you agree?
Well, thank you. We very much agree. And like you are interested in making sure that this transition, whether we're talking about electric or automated, is principally made in America, that it creates more opportunity. And it can, but we need to provide the right kind of policy framework. We're doing everything we can with existing authorities to make sure that it unfolds in a way that is safe, that builds the confidence of Americans in these technologies, and at the same time provides the flexibility for the kinds of research, development, and testing that are needed. And believe that there is more that we can be doing with our existing authorities, but also very much believe we need to work with Congress to have a legislative framework that adequately contemplates these kinds of vehicles becoming more widespread.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll get back to, if we have time, more questions related to that, but I want to shift a little bit here to a different topic. Over the past year, we've seen substantial congestion at ports on the East Coast and the West Coast, which all contributed to significant delays and problems for our economy. And I believe that part of the solution to ensuring that we don't see congestion like this again is to make better use of our ports in the Great Lakes, which can play a significant role in easing congestion at coastal ports. They improve the efficient movement of freight and reduce emissions in the process, which is great for our environment. However, in order to achieve these goals, we need to ensure that all seaports have equitable access to federal resources and are held to the same standards. And that's why I'm committed to working with our smaller seaports as they work to balance security concerns and evolving threats with port business operations and the need to move freight. So my question for you, Mr. Secretary, is can you describe your vision for how we can better support smaller seaports and ensure equitable distribution of resources, as well as the role that they can play in alleviating congestion at our larger coastal ports? As someone who is intimately familiar with the Great Lakes region, I'd love to have your thoughts.
Well, thank you. This is a very important dimension of how we can address our supply chain challenges and move goods in ways that are more environmentally responsible for the long run, too. As you know, the bipartisan infrastructure law authorized a major step up in the Port Infrastructure Development Program, $684 million being made available this year, if you combine the supplemental funding with what Congress enacted. And so we recognize the importance of supporting our ports, and while most of the headlines and the public imagination might center on our largest container ports on the East and West Coast, our Great Lakes ports, and I might add our river ports, play a very important role. For example, with PIDP, recently we were able to support an investment in Marquette, Michigan, I think another one in Alpena, which might seem small relative to what you might see in LA or Long Beach, but are no less important for that regional economy, and those investments add up. So you have my commitment that with PIDP, we will be paying attention to the potential of smaller inland and freshwater ports, as well as our large coastal ports.
Well, it's good to hear. In fact, this weekend, I'll be in Traverse City at a graduation ceremony for our Great Lakes Maritime Academy there, which will be graduating mariners that are on the Great Lakes freighters. And I know you see those freighters as well. Move tremendous amount of cargo. There's tremendous opportunities for us to continue to grow that industry within the Great Lakes, and appreciate your support for us for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your answers. Senator Fisher, you are recognized.